everybody, it's Safi and Marco dishing on the movies. And we are doing a review of last night's episode of Dark Winds, and it's episode 2, and it was called Wonders of the Unknown.
And at first, like, Safi, when she said episode 2, Wonders of the... And I was like, is this episode going to be called The Wonders of the World? I was like, Safi, what are the wonders of the world? And she couldn't tell me. And that's when I knew that Safi probably isn't really bright enough to be a reviewer full time.
Oh my God. So, anyway.
Well, what are they?
Well, there are 8 wonders of the world, like the waterfalls in New York or in Canada, and those, and I don't know what else. Probably one the Great Pyramids.
Do you think they list
the wonders of the world? Wonder of the world.
Do you think they list Epstein's Island as a wonder of the world?
Oh my God. Okay, Marco is kind of cantankerous again. I don't know when we're going to get out of the cantankerous, but... So, anyway, I wanted to say, because when I read these flea porn books, even reading the Ann Hillerman books, which are later and more current, I thought that, I never knew what the date was. Not really. It didn't come up. Well, apparently... And I don't know, in reading this book about the people of darkness, I don't know if they talked about the moon landing or not. I really don't remember. But anyway, this episode, or this season, takes place in 1971. That's why Jim Chi was wearing a, quote, leisure suit, which still is and it's not like the ones they had back then.
Looking back, he looks terrible. I mean, like, I was focusing on, like, I thought he gained some weight off camera. It seemed like, and that's not a bad thing, but just that's what I was focused on. I didn't really focus on, wait a second, he's wearing this weird suit. It looks like he stopped at a thrift store, and he was like, ooh, that looks really cool.
Well, they could have gotten, but I think they designed it because it does not look like the ones back then. The ones back then are so ugly. They have these big fat collars, and that had a very narrow collar. I really noticed that. And other people, it seems I read on Facebook, some people who had posted like their thoughts about the first episode, and other people noticed the suit too. You couldn't keep your eyes away from it because it wasn't too bad, but I think they modernized it. I think they had a costume designer tailor it a little bit. But I never knew what the date was, but they have the moon landing happen during this episode. That's actually kind of a focus of attention during I think probably almost at the very end. And so, of course, that dates it to the 70s. So... Anyway, I apologize for that, but like I said, when I read the books, I never really was aware of when they took place. I always just assumed they took place at the time I was reading them, which is that's not right. But, I just didn't think about it. So, anyway, where we leave off is, remember, Jim has gotten shot.
Yeah, Safi wouldn't let me see the opening.
Oh, God. Marco, come on.
There was a big dinner debacle. And, not with Safi, but then, or me, but then, I missed the opening, and then Safi was like, you can watch the opening. Oh, wait a second, my phone needs to be charged. Bye-bye. And so I just heard the opening. I don't know what happened. Safi?
We get AMC on Sling, and we have Sling on a TV in here, but somebody else is watching the TV and something else on it, and I have it on my phone, and you can't watch it both at the same time. So you either can watch it on my phone or the TV, but you can't do both at the same time. So he would have had to wait for my phone to get charged up.
And I did another boo-boo because I put on the birdcage on television, and it's no offense to this episode, but the show is not the birdcage. The birdcage is one of the best comedies ever, and so it was very distracting to have that on in the background too.
Yeah. So what happens is Jim Cheeseman shot, plus the bad guy, who is a very bad guy. I mean, he is as cold as an iceberg. And
is that what people say?
No, but I'm thinking about the Titanic and the submersible that happened last month.
Nobody cares about that.
I know that,
anymore.
but they keep putting things on about the Titanic. And
but people just say cold as ice. They don't say cold as an iceberg.
He is an iceberg.
Because it's like
he has no feelings.
An iceberg
except to kill.
An iceberg what? An iceberg lettuce wedge?
Oh yeah, I guess he's not a piece of lettuce. He is a real big, what would you call? I guess he's a sociopath. He has no feelings about anybody or anything, and that's very evident in this episode. And so he also, I guess did he put a bomb, or he just blew up the gas tank with a shotgun? Joe Leaphorn's truck, wasn't it destroyed? It exploded.
Was that the opening?
No, they showed that last week at the end, right?
I can't remember.
And so, well, they did. And so Joe has to drag...
There's a lot of explosions this season.
Yeah, I know. There could be at least the promise of more, or they get thwarted, as in this episode. So Joe is dragging Jim along, which really surprised me, but Jim is like twice as big as he is. He's a big guy, and Joe Leaphorn is a little guy. And so he's dragging him to a road, a main road, and luckily for them, a semi came by and picked him up. And, of course, he ends up in the hospital, and he has to stay there for a couple of days.
And at one point, Emanuelito, she buys a gift for him. And it's like a little, I guess, a healing thing.
It's a medicine bag.
And then she comes to the hospital, and she gives it to him reluctantly, and she asks him a couple of questions.
Well, he was supposed to give a statement about what happened with that guy, the bad guy, like what kind of truck he drove, and what he looked like, and if he had a plate number, etc.
It was funny because she didn't scowl a couple of times in this episode. Like, she wasn't scowling the whole time like in the first season, which was kind of weird.
Well, he apologized profusely to her about all the things that happened last season, how he lied.
Yeah, sorry
about being in the FBI.
Sorry for not being the character that I am in the books, lady. I didn't write the show.
Yeah, well, I hope they do. In the book series, they do get together, but we'll have to see what happens. There's only 6 episodes in a season, and it's the same with this season. And 2 are already gone. There's only 4 left.
4 episodes left on Dark Winds.
And I think
that's just what I think about before every episode. Like, 4 episodes left, 3 episodes left. Like it's like that's just wrong, Safi. That's just wrong. TV shows should not be 6 episodes a season.
So, Bernie Manuelito brings that little medicine bag, and that's like a protector thing. It's like a witchcraft thing. But maybe it's a Native American thing. You have a little medicine bag that you're supposed to have on you. It's to protect you.
I thought it would have been funnier if she put like a stink bomb inside the medicine bag and pranked him and said, "Here you go."
They wouldn't. They wouldn't do that.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't think they would do something like that.
That's something Emanuelita would do. I mean,
she would.
Yeah, especially after
believe
the
it.
way that they've changed her, apparently.
Well, tell what, and then she gets a special letter in the mail.
Yeah, there is this very cringeworthy scene. It is straight out of 2023.
Yeah, I don't remember it happening. I'm not saying it didn't, but I don't remember it happening.
So, Joe Sleephorn, which, by the way, Joe Sleephorn is awake, and he's doing a lot better. He doesn't seem like he's sleepy all the time. So that is one huge positive. I think he watched our videos because...
Well, maybe he watched his performance in those two shows, Fargo, and then that other one about that sheriff or something in...
Well, this show actually...
I can't remember.
I would say that this season kind of reminds me of Fargo Season 2 a little bit. Or just Fargo in general. With all the violence and the explosions and the... I don't know. It kind of reminds me in a weird way. But...
Well, there is some violence on... Okay, just a minute. We've got the blower blowing away the grass clippings off of the porch. Since we live in an apartment house, they have people who mow, and then they have blowers, and they go around, and everybody has a porch, and they concrete porch, and they blow off the stuff off the porches. So he's gone.
So anyways, you were saying there's violence?
There's violence. Nobody is exempt from violence. There may be different kinds of violence, but people are people. There's bad people, there's good people, and it's not. On a reservation, there's poverty. There's all kinds of things. It's just just part of America. And they have their own problems, but anyway, there's more
don't you think
this season?
Don't you think it reminds you of Fargo Season 2?
Maybe,
a little bit,
maybe. But okay, just you give a little hint.
What?
Because I don't know if it'll come up, but the bad guy is really bad, and he apparently likes bombs, and we've seen this already. He did the car bomb. And then, I don't know what happened with Joe's truck. I don't know if he had a little bomb on it or if he just shot the gas tank and exploded. I have no idea. I don't know if you did shoot the gas tank, would it explode? I mean, I don't know. So, anyway, but he does...
I think maybe you'd have to shoot it twice or something.
I don't know. But apparently, he decides because, well... Emanuelita and...
No, I wanted to talk about Emanuelito.
Oh, that's right.
her.
Marco's got to say, we got interrupted. That's what happened.
This scene was straight out of 2023. It felt very much like another scene that we'll discuss from another show from last year. Emanuelito, she has gotten an offer to become lieutenant of Border Patrol somewhere. And, she wants to go do that, and she wants to, be a strong, independent woman and have this higher position instead of staying with Joe. And
the reservation.
Which I thought that was the stupidest shit I've ever seen from this show so far. Even dumber than the finale from last year that was terrible trash. Like, number one, she cares so much about her people. This is supposed to be like a really good character, like she cares about Native people. But she's going to abandon them and go join the Border Patrol?
And this is 1971.
That's stupid.
They're not talking about the borders as much as they do right now. So that was another thing. And also, in that year, 1971, how many other women would be at the Border Patrol?
I don't know.
And I mean, how many more women would they have been hiring in 1971? And it's suspicious.
And it's suspicious too because
those little things right there.
It's
Border
it's a
Patrol.
very, very similar type of scene that you have happen on these shows where a woman is working with a man and she says, I really like working with you, but I want to go be somewhere else where I can be a strong, independent woman and have my, higher position where I'm above people. And that's exactly what this was. And it was straight out of The Offer. If you guys remember that stupid ass shit in the finale or whatever of The Offer.
That was a good series. So Marco's not saying it was bad.
The secretary.
They had that part. And
the secretary said, like, I really like working with you, but I want to go be an agent by myself because I want to be a strong, independent woman. And that felt like another, like, 2022, 2023 type of scene. It's just bullshit. It's retarded. This isn't the character. And I just think, like, if they take Emanuelito off the show...
They're not going to take her off the show.
That would be that would be so bad. That would be worse than putting Jim Chi in the FBI. Like, that would be another, like, huge red flag that these people don't know what they're doing.
Well, Ann Hillerman is one of the producers, and all the books that she's written, when her father died, she took over, and she picked up where he left off. And, Joe gets older. I told Marco that at one point he gets shot really badly, takes a long time to recover, so he is older, he retires. Emma has passed away. I don't know if these things are ever going to come up in the series, but anyway, he and Manuelito figure prominently in her books. So I can't see that she's going to go away.
I don't know.
I just don't believe
They could have her go away and then she comes back in season 3 at the end or something. Like,
I just don't believe it because I don't remember that ever happening.
I just think to even pose the question of her wanting to leave is really bad.
I don't know. It doesn't go with the year. And I don't think it goes with the books either. So that's another thing. It's like a inserted agenda thing. But other than that, the episode was good.
Yeah.
We have to move on now.
Well, we had to get it over with.
Because Lee Bourne had found this belt buckle out at that place where she said that the box was taken. He found the belt buckle. I think the contents of the box had been completely open. There were some burned papers there. There were because when he had to pick up the belt buckle with a cloth because it was hot. The contents of the box had just been burned. So some of them, the paperwork for some reason. And anyway, I would have to watch it again. I've watched it twice, but Manuelita did pick up. They went back and they picked up all the rest of the stuff, and maybe her or maybe some other officers in the office, and they don't show them do that. And she looked at him and she read something, and it was very hard to see. Something about what was on the top of the forms meant something, and she was told to go investigate whatever it was. But I've seen it twice. I don't know what it was she saw. So I have no idea what that's about. But they do go back, Bernie and Lee Bourne, to see if there's anything else out there. And they find the body of that man who was selling stuff at that indoor market, or whatever it was. And remember, it was his father, I believe, or uncle, who was killed by that car bomb. And then there's him, and I guess he was kidnapped by that bad guy and taken out to that place, and the box was there. And of course, for some reason, the guy was interested in the box. I have no idea. I don't remember, but I wouldn't say anyway. But like I said, the stuff was taken out and everything was, or they tried to burn everything, but not everything got burned. But still, like some papers got partially burned. And anyway, they found the body because there were vultures overhead, and he was down on the ground on some rocks. So then another almost, well, he goes, and then Joe goes and sees his mother and his father because he wants to know about the
dark people.
The dark people of darkness, because apparently his boss, I can't think of his name, he told him that his father, who had once been a police officer, had dealt with them and he hated them, and he would probably know where they were. And so he goes, so we get to see Jolie Porn's parents. And
so did they say what the dark people were? Because I missed that. I missed that part.
Well,
and what are they?
I don't know. What happened was, because that's another thing. I'd have to listen to it again. They said they were one thing, and they were like I don't know, worshipers or something, or spiritualists, or they would get together and they would take peyote and get high and have experiences. And then...
So they're like that stoner guy?
They do ceremonies or something. And then witchy ceremonies, I guess. And then for somehow they got connected with some kind of... white people, they call it white people's commercialization or something, and so the group that they had been are not what they are now. So but I don't exactly know. They weren't very clear about what they did, except they got high together and had ceremonies, and maybe they saw visions, had visions. I don't know. That wasn't really made for us.
So they saw the spoilers for seasons 3, 4, 5, and on? Dark Winds?
No, Marco.
Why not?
So,
Safi,
I imagine they do have plans. If they get to continue the series, they do have plans for what future seasons would hold.
Can you score some peyote?
No, Marco.
Why not?
Get off of it.
Why not?
I don't even know what it is exactly. I know some kind of plant. And
I bet it's good.
Like hemp.
Ow! I want to reenact the X-Files episode Babylon.
Good for you. So then they go back and they go by the place where the man who was killed, his daughter is there. She's a little girl. She's probably 9 years old or 10.
That was a girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's a tomboy.
I knew that. Safi,
well, you're the one saying that. So she was trying to... she has this big shoebox.
And it was gifted to her by the bad guy.
Well, she doesn't know that. She thought it was a gift from her father. It had been left there. Now, unfortunately, we saw the bad guy, who has no soul and is as dark as... I mean, he's just... He's ice. He's an icicle. And he was putting together a bomb, and there was a bomb inside the box, and so Joe helps her open it. And he has a knife, and it's tied with a ribbon, and then he opens the box, and then she was surprised that her father would give her that. She said, "My dad usually doesn't give me girl toys," and because it was a doll. And so she picks it up, and there's this little pull string on it. And Joe said, "Wait a minute." And so he said, "Can I see the doll?" And so he turns the doll over. Well, he sees the bomb, and the pull string is attached to the bomb. So if she pulled the string, everybody blow up. So he said, "Can I have this for a while?" And so he said, "Take her away." And Bernie took her for a drive, and then he called his father.
Yeah, I thought that part was cool. where his dad disarmed the bomb.
Well, he told him what to do to disarm it because he said my hands shake too badly, and he had to get grounded.
That was all cool.
That was interesting. He said if there's any spark, we'll both blow up. And I don't know what the spark would be from, maybe static electricity. I don't know, but they managed to dismantle the bomb. So, like I said, the guy, and we're like, I'm like, why would he kill the little girl? Well, we find out at the end of the show almost why he wanted to kill the girl. So, do you want to say anything else about anything between there and the end?
I don't think there is much to say except for Emanuelito.
Well,
every time she would smile, it really freaked me out. It's kind of like, people when they create mods of characters that are evil, and then they, you see them smile. Like, just imagine, Safi, what if you saw Nosferatu smiling? Like, how weird that would be. Like, that's the equivalent for me of, seeing Emanuelito smile, or just not scowl with complete I don't know, she would be a really good villain.
I don't know. Anyway, they have the moon landing, and first there's this is another thing too, where I watched it twice and something happened. I don't think the bomber did this. I think somebody just in the bar accidentally did. The whole bar was packed.
I don't know.
They're watching the moon landing, but somebody's messing with the switch, and they blew a fuse or something, and they couldn't watch it. So they all go to the jailhouse where they're watching it. This whole crowd of bar people.
And then the little girl, she recognizes the astronaut guy.
Well, she sees the astronaut. She says, "I saw an astronaut the other
Safi,
day."
I was gonna say that. Okay, you don't have to
That's
be.
good, 'cause I have to call.
What would you call it? Add-on Allison. You don't have to be an add-on Allison.
Okay, Marco.
And so, she reveals that she saw the bad guy, and that her uncle told her to stay away.
That he was bad.
And that he's evil. So that was pretty cool. That was how the episode ended. Well, the episode did it end with the bad guy going to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because then after that we saw the trailer where they showed in the hospital, and so
He's there to kill Chi.
yeah. I kind of thought, is he gonna kill Chi? And then they bring in the same actor, and they make him the real character. And they say this is Jim Chi's twin, Jim Chi number 2, and he's going to be the character from the book. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Kind of like in Twin Peaks, where they kill Laura, and before the show started, and then they bring in Maddie, and it's like Maddie was better than Laura anyway, so. Would you agree with that, Safi? Oh, then they kill Maddie. And that was kind of unfortunate. Remember that?
Vaguely.
You don't remember Maddie?
Yeah.
Damn you, Safi.
Okay, so that's how they ended then, and I guess I'll give the episode. I'll give it an A- because of the thing with the Border Patrol. Because there's multiple things that are weird about it that don't fit with 1971 and fit more with today. So it's like an inserted in agenda.
Yeah.
And I'm still happy they're doing this series because it not enough good stuff is focused in on Native Americans. The Navajo Reservation is gigantic. The area is beautiful. there's a lot of diversity, a lot of really good food in that area. The sunsets and the sunrises are beautiful. Just the whole area is a beautiful place. Interesting people, and I'm just glad they're. And the mysteries are really good. So, and I'm glad that they seem to have improved from last season.
Yeah, they
They're
did improve.
More focused and
less weird, less weird and disjointed.
Last season was focused more on witchcraft, and witchcraft can be very iffy, and it has to be done right, and it can look hokey and fake, and or just not believable, and
I would give this episode a B plus, just like last week, because I just can't give this episode a grade higher than last week when I thought first episode was better because you had equal time for all three characters.
Now, Jim Chi was really not in this episode very much.
Yeah.
He was just in it let's say he talked to Joe. That was one time. And Joe brought him a cheeseburger and fries.
Yeah, we forgot that.
And then, which that's something that he and Bernie like to do. They like to go get their hamburger or cheeseburger and
really
have a Coke. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then, and fortunately she didn't get to see him in that suit either. She just, because he was in his hospital bed and he was bandaged up and everything.
Well, let me finish grading the episode now.
Okay.
So, it's another episode where it's like, I probably, if you didn't have the Emmanuel Lita thing, I probably could have said A-, asterisk, I might change this later. But that Emmanuel Lita scene, it just completely threw me off because I was like, are they really going to do that? Like, are they going to mess that up too? And I would just say in general for the show, it's pretty good. But it has trouble with not exceeding that level of pretty good. Like, Hell on Wheels, it started off like kind of amateurish and small. But that first season was really, really good. And they only got better from there for the most part. Well, until the horrible last season. But I feel like this show should be on the level of Hell on Wheels. And I just don't understand why. I think part of it has to do with what it is.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like they treat this show differently because it's a Native American show. Like they don't treat it the same way they would have treated Hell on Wheels.
Well, they do, and it's very interesting because they did have this little part, I think it was like 60 seconds or maybe, where each Jim Chi and the woman who plays Bernie and the guy who plays Jim Chi, Joe Leaphorn, all three talked about what tribe that they're from, and that it was good to have diversity in, I think, in TV or on television or something. And but what was interesting, I mean, the place is about a Navajo reservation, and they talked about this last time. There was some kind of like a behind-the-scenes show, and they talked about Navajo apparently is extremely difficult language to speak. Remember, in World War II, there were the Navajo code talkers, and they were able to transmit messages, and Japanese didn't know what the heck was going on because they were speaking Navajo. They were like, what language is that? They couldn't figure it out.
They were like, ching chong, bing bong.
I don't
Navajo, I don't understand Navajo, only understand Teriyaki.
Marco, I really don't appreciate what you're doing. So anyway,
that's pretty funny.
So the woman who plays Emma, she is a Navajo, and I think like the parents, maybe they are Navajo. The parents of Joe Leaphorn, who they showed briefly, she spoke Navajo to him, And I think, and then there's this other lady that he talked to about the people of darkness. I'm not sure who. She had the dark glasses, and she has an eye vision problem. Maybe she's blind, and she spoke Navajo, so they could all be Navajo. And they said the actors who are natural Navajo, they would help these other actors who weren't Navajo to speak the language, to do the lines. So.
Well,
but they didn't have any of the Navajo actors. They just had those three.
Let me get back to grading the episode.
Oh.
So, it seems like they treat this show differently for some reason. Like, why is it that the first season did pretty well? Well, it didn't do great because it wasn't great to begin with. Like, this season is pretty great in comparison. But it's like, why didn't they give them more than 6 episodes in season 2? Like, Hell on Wheels, they had their, 10 episodes every season, and then for the last season, they had, 20 episodes. So, why is it that, are they going to do that for every show, where every show only gets 6 episodes?
Well, there was one that only had 4.
Yeah, well,
remember? Lately? Somebody, there was one that had 4, just 4. Like, what?
That's really, really bad. It's like, that's not a TV show. It's a miniseries.
It's very disappointing.
And I think that this show deserves more than 6 episodes. And so I think that that's one of the disappointing things. Is that, this episode's pretty good. Last episode was pretty good. But guess what? There's only 4 episodes left. So that's only 4 more chances that they could have a really good episode, like Your Honor did, have multiple. You're going to be watching Your Honor, Safi. We did a wheel spin, for the end of the year when we rank television shows. I thought, Safi needs to watch another show because she's only seen 2 shows this year. And I put on there Love and Death or Your Honor.
What is Love and Death?
The Elizabeth Olsen true crime show. Very depressing.
What? Huh. Never heard of it.
Very depressing. But at least that show had fucking 10 episodes. 8 episodes, 10
Disney?
Episodes.
No,
it was HBO Max.
Oh.
Now called Max. That's really clever. Not. So we did a wheel spin and Safi landed on Your Honor.
Oh, great.
So she's going to be forced to watch that and see the rise, the fall, and the continuation of Eugene, the one of probably the worst character in television history. Actually, he is a little bit better than that piece of shit Kim from Better Call Saul.
Oh boy. Okay, well, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. So we would like your feedback on the show.
And I want to see
our review of it, but what about your review of it? What do you think about it?
I want to see in season 1, Emanuelito faced off against the Taco Bell gas woman. Well, I want to see in this season Joe Sleephorn face off physically against the bad guy.
I think they do.
I don't just want to see the bad guy gets really depressed and then he kills himself and pussies out in season 1.
I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Because that
no
was
way. That guy gets,
that was trash.
That guy will go down slinging. He is not going swinging or slinging or anything. He's not. He's just he's a rock. He's like as cold as an ice cold rock.
What if he falls in love with Emanuelito?
No, he doesn't have any feelings about anything. He's a sociopath.
He could be like, you remind me of my mom, who I can't find.
No, my God.
Why not? Does he find his mom in the book?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. What?
Well, you never know what they're going to do, though. This guy is looking for his mother, and I think it's because she abandoned him. or something. I don't remember exactly the story.
Well, see,
But
now
he has
now
a very
now
bad
now I'm on
beginning
now I'm
to
on
his life.
now I'm on his side. So you just ruined that.
No, you're not on his side.
I'm just kidding.
He's a bad guy.
He's
and
evil.
thinking he would blow up a little girl is disgusting. And because if they hadn't come along,
Well, certain presidents have blown up lots of little girls, Safi, and they don't care.
For God's sakes, Marco.
You know
okay,
what?
we gotta go
You
now.
know, with drone strikes, Safi.
Oh,
You ever heard of that?
Yeah, okay.
They do it all the time.
Our next review will be probably Thursday, because Wednesday is the next episode of Master Chef. So, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.